Welcome. So when do you take your test? And this is something that I just want to kind of bring up a little discussion and make a video for about when should students really be tested for what they need to know in their education, and especially for mathematics. Because I kind of graduated through the system of, you have your test date, the test is on Friday, you got to make sure you know that information on that Friday. And what that taught me as a student was, if I don't know that information, I need to really bust my butt to make sure I get to that information, or I need to do whatever I need to do to make sure that I can pass that information. And really a lot of times what that was is, if I did well, I got a good grade and I was happy and things were good. And what that really did is it was kind of like the carrot and the stick. That was kind of my carrot in front of me, that you need to do whatever you need to do just to make sure you do good on that Friday. And for a lot of students, that brought up a lot of anxiety, because they know if they don't do good, sometimes they might have a retake or sometimes they don't have retakes. And retakes have become a very, very big thing nowadays, where students, they don't do well, oh well, it's okay, you can go ahead and take a retake. And I was a part of that kind of movement as well. And what I've found out with that is it really didn't help students learn any better. What it really did was just kind of gave them another opportunity just to really prolong really what they were doing. And I don't really think it helped out their learning, or really for them to take ownership of what they needed to learn and what they needed to understand on the test. So what I did is I devised, I spoke with the students and I looked at them, and as far as learning, it's not finite. You're always going to be continually learning. I want you to be learning on your pace. I don't want, when students go ahead and take a test, for them to say that, I'm not ready for this test. I want them to be able to say, yes, I am prepared, I've done everything I need to do, but I realize, in a group of students, not everybody, that date is not going to be the same. So what I've done this year is I have taken away testing dates. I have truly just allowed students to take the test when they need to take the test. And you might say, well, come on now, I mean, this isn't going to work in the real world. You don't expect people to turn in their job assignments whenever they want to turn the job assignments, and I completely understand that. I'm not trying to work my way for students to condition them for thinking that anything in their job place or deadlines and stuff are not important, and I truly believe they do. And I think we can work with students on showing them how deadlines are going to be true, and they need to do whatever it is possible to get things done on that deadline. However, when it comes to learning something new and being able to replicate that learning and show a sense of reasoning and understanding for the information, I don't think it is going to be something that's going to be finite, that students need to show up on a day and show you that they know the information. Because I believe, like millions of students, they did whatever they needed to do just to pass. Some students would go ahead and cheat. Some students would go ahead and cram the last night. And I think all those things kind of add together really, really gave math a bad taste. Because students would realize that they could just kind of get by if they could cheat or things like or if they just crammed with them, then they wouldn't learn the information. And then what happened is they go to their next class and they don't remember any of their information, and it's just a big circle that just keeps on getting harder and harder and harder until the students are like, I don't like math, I hate math, math is too hard. And it all stems back to us trying to force students to understand a concept at maybe a time that they're not ready for it. So what I've realized is, if you can allow students to give their timeline to understand the information, what I do with my students is I set a timeline, or I set a date that I'm going to give the test in the class. It's a date that I expect students to be prepared for the test. So I have a test date, and I tell students this is when it'll be the test date, we'll have a review, and so forth. Well, if students tell me they're not going to be ready, well, I say I completely understand. You write down the date that you plan on being available for it. And I kind of give students like this is their commitment to themselves, where they're going to do what they need to do to be prepared on that date. And I work with students. I really make sure that they are going to follow through on the date that they choose. Now, that date might be a couple days, it might be one day, or it might even be an extra week afterwards. But one thing I make sure that I do, if they're not going to, or even when they do choose to take the test, I make sure that all of their homework are going to be completed. I'm not going to hand out a test unless a student is thoroughly prepared. And the next thing I've done, by allowing them to extend their date for the test, I don't allow retakes. I want students to look at, when they come in to take a test, this is an accumulation of everything they know. Here they are showing me what they have learned, showing me what they have taken the extra time to study for, to learn. And I keep myself available for the students. I want them to know that if they're not ready for this test, that they can just come into me, get the help they need, and then show me when they take the test. Because really, when you look back on things, what is really important? What is really important when a student's going to be taking a test? Is it truly that important that the student knows that they need to understand the information on February 5th? Is it really? Or is it really more important that students need to know the information that they have been taught for the last 3 weeks? And you know what? If it takes the student an extra week or two to understand that information, and they can truly say that, hey, I understand it now, it just took me an extra week, but now I get it, do you think they're going to be better off in their next math class or in the next subject matter? Now, I know there's a lot of disadvantages to this, because after that test date, I move on with my material. I start teaching the next subject. And some of these students are just going to procrastinate. They're going to keep on saying, oh, I'm not ready, I'm not ready, I'm not ready. And I understand that. Yeah, I don't think there's ever going to be some kind of perfect scenario or perfect way for you to be able to assess students or get them prepared for real life. A lot of students always need, that constant push and that constant mentoring to help them out. But I think as far as understanding information and being prepared for the next math classes, I think deadlines are really ruining math education in the fact that we're allowing students to get by with retakes or get by with them just getting by on their tests without really a true understanding of the material. So I just wanted to kind of pose that question up to you, let you guys know if you have any insight for what I'm doing in my class. I really would appreciate it. Thanks so much. Bye.